The true measure of a hero is the legacy that he or she leaves behind. Harvey Milk was that hero. Many of us in this room were inspired to lead authentic lives at a time when the words brave and gay went hand in hand thanks to him. It is his legacy that we speak about as we honor Stuart Milk tonight. Stuart Milk is an iconic civil rights leader in his own right and continues his uncle's message of authenticity. Stuart's courage and support for human rights and the LGBTQ community has spanned across 6 continents. His appearances and campaigns throughout the world, speaking on behalf of all of us, are too numerous to list here, but suffice it to say that he truly epitomizes the word inspire. Friends, tonight we honor Stuart Milk, not just the co-founder of the Milk Foundation, not just Harvey Milk's nephew and living memorial, but a man of great integrity and energy who is more than worthy of an award. Please help me properly welcome to Toronto, to Hart House, and to the Inspire Awards, Stuart Milk.
Thank you so much. It's truly amazing to be here in Toronto. This is the last leg of a celebration across the border of Harvey Milk Day, which is an official state holiday in California. And it's celebrated in hundreds of cities across the US and actually into the world. But it's really, really inspiring for me to be part of America, and to be here in Toronto, which is part of America, and to be able to witness a community's collective coming together and embrace of themselves. You know, I'm often asked at this time of year if I feel bad that my uncle didn't get to see the day when you would have a community coming together like this, in public, with a community celebration. He ran for office at a time when it was illegal to be homosexual in California. It was considered a severe mental illness. And people like Anita Bryant were saying that the gays are here to recruit you. And my uncle was a master of words, so he would say, I am here to recruit you. I'm here to recruit you to celebrate diversity. I'm here to recruit you to celebrate inclusion. You never heard the words tolerance from my uncle. That bar was too low for him. He wanted everyone to be included and celebrated, and I really think it's inspiring for me to end this kind of 2-week non-stop celebration of diversity here in Toronto and see this amazing experience that Antoine and Boyd and Shane and Joy and everyone here has put together. Let me just share with you what my uncle dreamed. So, like I said, people ask me, is it sad that the family did not that my uncle did not get to see this type of day? And I always answer that my uncle absolutely saw this day. He dreamed it. He knew that he was going to be killed. That was not Hollywood. He recorded wills of what should be done when those bullets entered his brain. He said that he knew that anyone who was the first to proclaim against fierce societal norms that who you are and who you authentically are is good, even when there are people who are supposed to be leaders saying you're not. He believed that taking off masks can only enrich not only a community but the world, even when leaders were telling us keep those masks on. He believed fiercely that the collective good is only enhanced when we can all reach our full potential, and that means not having a mask on. So those bullets he knew were coming, and he believed that he had the courage to see through his conviction and to keep the force moving ahead because he envisioned this night. He envisioned each one of you who would not only stand on his shoulders, but would create a new world. People who were crazy enough to dream that we could create a new world. And I can tell you that the only people who ever do change the world are the ones like all of us who are crazy enough to believe we can. I want to share with you just one brief story of someone who represents literally thousands of people and hundreds of people that I've met across the world who stand on my uncle's shoulders. It's a young man named Milan. And I had the honor to take him to the White House to meet President Obama and the First Lady and to meet leaders in Washington. Milan and I met a year ago at Budapest Pride. And I tell this story because I think it's important that what the Inspire Awards are doing continue, which is telling our history. And reminding us that we must continue this message. Budapest was the first former Soviet, Hungary was the first former Soviet country to have a pride for 18 years. Thousands of people showed up for the first one, and they actually passed the civil union law. But a few years ago, the economy got bad, and the right wing took over in that country, and they took away the rights of Roma people, gypsies. They took away the rights of women. They took away the rights of immigrants. They took away the rights of gays and lesbians. And Pride, this first former Soviet pride, Soviet satellite pride, was diminished to where there were 5,000 or 6,000 protesters and maybe a couple hundred marchers. And it had become very violent. They asked me if I would go, and I did. And by the way, I usually go when they can't get anyone else to go. And that's very much like my uncle. He usually was asked to speak when they couldn't find anyone else to speak, so I feel like I'm in some ways channeling his work. But I went to the Pride in Hungary, and I couldn't find anyone to speak Hungarian or Bullhorn or to talk to the press. And this young 21-year-old took it upon himself to do that. And so we marched through the streets against 5,000 protesters with all their hate and with all their separation and with all their diminishment. And he spoke Hungarian, and he got on national TV with me. After that event, I went on to Brussels, but I heard that he went home. And he opened his front door, and he found his father hanging. His father had committed suicide because Milan had shamed his family by being out, authentic, and taking off his mask. About a week later, the president of the Czech Republic, President Klaus, Prague was going to have their first Pride. They put out an urgent call if I would come to Prague. I did. Again, they tried to get other people, couldn't get them. I went. And when they picked me up at the airport, and I had been Skyping with Milan, who was busy burying his dad after this courage that he had. When they picked me up at the airport in Prague, they said that they had to pick someone else up. They put out an urgent call for a street-long rainbow flag. And they put that call out to Central Europe. And there was a young 21-year-old who answered that call. And a day after burying his father, he got on an 8-hour overnight bus to bring Prague that rainbow flag from Hungary. When I started to tear up. This is a 21-year-old, and he said to me, let's not cry today. We have to support the people of the Czech Republic. Let's not cry today, we'll cry tomorrow. There are Milan Rosas around the world who are looking to places like Toronto for their inspiration. There is nothing better than this event. So for all of those of you who have friends in Toronto who are not here tonight, sure they come next year, because we have to support the Milan Roses across the world. We have to support them with events that celebrate diversity and inclusion. Let me just close. By the way, I donated, this is a children's book that's taught for every kindergartner and first grader and second grader to learn about Harvey Milk in the California public schools by law. And this is one of your raffle items to support. Let me close by telling you another little brief story about what my uncle gave me. I was 17 when he was killed, and he used to give me gifts for my birthday, a book, kind of a fun gift, and a letter. So when I was 2, he gave me a book called Ping. Some of you are old enough to know this children's book about a duckling that was different, and an 18-page letter. I was 2 years old. He had big expectations for me. When I was 12, he gave me a book called 7 Arrows. It's actually the first anthology of the Native American traditions, of the First Nations traditions. And in it he wrote, "You and all your differences are the medicine that the world needs, even when the world does not recognize that." Very important for me at 12 years old, because I felt very different. You and all your differences is the medicine that the world needs, even when the world doesn't recognize that. You are doing that tonight. You are recognizing the important medicine of our differences, and that can heal the world, and that is to me the greatest honor, and thank you so much for